In the noise of childhood, loneliness can be so quiet. Homestead Elementary School in Brampton. Every month here, all the kids gather to celebrate each other. On this day, there's also a surprise.
Hello everyone, my name is Trinity and I'm here today to talk about some of my personal stories of anxiety, depression, and bullying.
A 12-year-old visitor talks about her struggle to make friends and something profoundly simple that helped. A friendship bench. You may have heard of it. It's a place where a child can take a seat and send the silent signal they need a friend.
You're going to have the bench placed permanently in our atrium.
Angelo Cariati is the vice principal here.
It doesn't feel good to be lonely. So we want to give the children the tools to seek that out and put themselves in the other person's shoes. How would I feel? How might I feel if that was me sitting alone on the bench or alone in the schoolyard?
Childhood. It's easy to assume it's carefree, but hundreds of schools around the world have one of these. We set up a camera to capture the unspoken stories, the ones kids rarely talk about until they're asked.
I was very lonely because I had no one to play with outside. So I thought like someone will come help me if I sat on the bench.
It doesn't take long before someone does, and before it's clear that Roshana Jakaran's sense of solitude runs deeper.
Feels very lonely, and I don't feel like I belong sometimes.
Yeah. And describe it to me. What does it feel like when you're feeling lonely?
I feel sad. Sometimes I feel like people don't care about me.
It's revealing and heart-wrenching. This from a 10-year-old who does have friends, and yet already feels how fleeting these moments of connection can be, how she already treasures them.
The hardest part is when I'm sad and I got no one to be with me.
The simplicity and the complexity of a child's developing emotions can be surprising. So is what they carry alone.
I just have two friends. Their name is Ronik and Ishan. They're my best friends. So they never be rude to me. They support me too a lot, but I don't tell them about the stuff.
Sukaran Pander doesn't tell them about the moments he says he spends crying alone. He was one of the first kids to sit down on the bench.
We can sit here, and some student can come and help us. Like, if you're crying so badly, you can get calmed down and you can tell your story, whatever happened.
And just take a look at what does happen. This is the first time he's told anyone, other than his parents, that he's been bullied since the beginning of the school year.
Did you talk to him about it? I said stop. It doesn't. Okay, if they bother you tomorrow, you can just tell them. Why you talking on the teacher? Yeah.
Not only did he make a friend,
We told Cariati about that moment.
it was one of those things where you couldn't have planned that. It's a child who instantly felt a connection with what came out of the bench. So now I know as an educator that, wow, that's great. We do have a tool there, but now I need to follow up to make sure that he's going home and feeling safe and coming back to school and feeling safe.
Extraordinary what a moment can reveal when there's a place to see it.
It's so shameful. And it makes you feel vulnerable. Sometimes I have a tendency to feel disconnected and not part of any one community or tribe.
One,
A tribe, a place to belong.
2,
Marcy O'Connor may find it here at a Navy base in Montreal.
You're all there for the same reason. You're all wearing the same uniform. You're all eating at the same time. You're all participating in the same tasks. I find something really comforting in that.
This may not look like comfort, a grueling test to see if she has what it takes to get into the Navy. But in the drills and demands, Marcy can see it. A place for her, a seat at the table of her life.
That was the tough one.
It starts by breaking the stigma.
Remember, people used to whisper cancer? Yeah. I don't even know if loneliness is whispered. Like, I don't even know if it's there yet.
Marcy says ever since she can remember, she's felt a separateness. A child of divorce, and now divorced too. There was no one moment, more like a collection of broken threads that wove into a yearning. Marcy moved to Quebec from Toronto when she got married. Life with kids got busy. She drifted away from old friends, and 2 years ago, when the marriage ended, she lost the community that came with it.
I lost a sense of my identity in a way. I wasn't really sure who I was or who I was going to be, who I was connected to, who I could reach out to.
A busy life suddenly got quieter, and as the outlines of her new life in her 40s emerged, so did empty spaces and a sense of guilt.
I'm not alone, right? Like, I have my mom and my brother, and I have my kids. In spite of having them in my life, I still feel lonely.
Loneliness is defined as a state of mind, a state of soul, and why people can feel lonely even when they're not alone. And as Marcy turned inward, the questioning became less about why and more about now what. The changes seem subtle.
How old was he when you got him?
Marcy used to walk her dog alone. Now she takes her to a dog park to find people to talk to. A freelance writer, she's used to working from home.
Have you heard it all from that?
Now she's landed a longer contract, and that means going to the office every day.
Some of the feedback is really interesting and helpful.
Developing work relationships that already feel less transient. It's all deliberate and liberating. As she exposes her loneliness, she diminishes the pain tangled in it.
I won't try to push it away or question it or feel embarrassed or ashamed of it. And I just let it sit there and see where it takes me to. And it wouldn't have taken me to the Navy if I hadn't just sat with that feeling for a little bit.
The Navy may be the most life-altering, with its construct of unity, of home. Marcy passed that first test.
Okay, I gotta go.
And got one exhausted step closer.
Oh, can I be just your friend?
The quiet can be unbearable. So Melvina Alderson sings it away.
We've never kissed. Well, it's like you're not alone, and singing is one of the best ways of getting rid of depression. The answer is blowing in the wind. If you can sing along with it, it'll bring you out of anything.
Melvina is 73 and lives alone with her solitude.
You're always feeling lonely when you're by yourself. You're always eating alone. You're always spending the evening alone. When you get through that door, there's nobody here.
Loneliness, for older people especially, can feel like the world is busy moving past you, that it doesn't occur to anyone to stop. Melvina copes by making light of it.
Sometimes I can go 2-3 weeks without a phone call even. There. My daughter and I were talking the other night. There she says, I'm just going to have a shower. Then I'll call you. Did you see the date on that?
No.
Anyways, just a couple of days ago. I'm still waiting for that phone call. But she was too tired. I know that's why she didn't call me back. She went right to bed. But with Carol, she's phones. I know it's there. Good morning, Carol.
Good morning, Lady Malvina. How are you?
That call Melvina mentioned with a volunteer named Carol. It's a lifeline.
I look forward to that phone call. Matter of fact, they know downstairs. I go downstairs for breakfast every morning. On Thursdays, I have my alarm set for 9:20. I got to go upstairs. I got my conference call.
You said you went to see your doctor this week, so how did that go?
Okay, it wasn't the flu I had. I have bronchitis.
That's something I was concerned about, because you were saying you felt last week like you were actually fighting for every breath, and I did not like that at all.
Carol Bailey is with a home health care company that checks in on lonely clients.
For sure.
She's often the only call they can count on.
Good hearing you, my friend. We'll talk again soon.
I noticed that a lot of it was just chit-chat.
Yes. And that's really what it is. We don't try, it's a companion call, so you're talking like you're talking to a friend. So we go into whatever the mood is for that day.
But that call is only half an hour once a week, and there are so many hours to fill. Melvina has limited mobility, and she races to fill them all by volunteering anywhere she can.
These are $5.
The annual poppy stand at a nearby mall is one of her favorites because the shifts can be 12 hours long.
Have a good day, dear.
Melvina has outlived partners and a son.
I lost my wife a few months ago.
Oh, I'm very sorry to hear that.
There's time here to connect, even if it's over losses.
It does help with loneliness. When you see that somebody else is lonely, it helps by saying, well, yeah, I'm here. I know what you're going through, but, you know, and you feel good, too. Okay, you have a great day. Okay.
A moment like that, it's what keeps her going. And so she waits for the next one. Ioanna Roumeliotis, CBC News, Brampton, Ontario.